At the red light on Maple, my phone vibrates in the cup holder. The preview unfurls across the lock screen like a headline I did not vote for. Home base, mom reminder. Tyler's bringing his work friend. You can sleep on the couch. The icon is a little house with a heart. The timing is a little knife. My jaw remembers how to clench. The second ping arrives before the light turns green. Dad. We set out a blanket and the good pillow. Your old room is booked this weekend. Busy, busy. Good problem to have. A third ping, the emoji parade. Sloan. Don't be picky, sis. Couch is cozy. Also, can you pick up extra ice? Forgot. I stare at the screen. I hear the car behind me tap its horn. Polite like a neighbor at the fence. The light turns. I go. The banner hangs in my mind the rest of the drive, overlaying familiar landmarks. The Shell station with the flickering L. The bakery where they know mom's order. 2 sourdough, 1 rye. Pretzel roll if they have it. Their confidence is a script I've known my whole life. You're easy. You're flexible. You are furniture with feelings. Nice when convenient. Stowable when not. When I pull into the driveway, the house looks like it always does on a Thursday night before a family weekend. Kitchen lights blazing. Front door propped with the wicker stop shaped like a turtle. A dish towel draped over the porch railing because mom refuses to dry things in a machine when air can do it just fine, for free, and with character. I lift the oranges, my weekend peace offering. The front door smells like lemon cleaner and roasted chicken. The oven door sighs open and shut. Spoons clink. Laughter floats. My brother's, that deep, easy sound that used to be my favorite. Baby! Mom calls as I step inside. She appears with damp hands and a ponytail too high for her age, kisses my cheek without landing, grabs the oranges. We started dinner because Tyler was starving. Poor thing had a day. She turns her head toward the dining room. Eli's here. I kick off my shoes. I listen. Always the first thing. Chairs scrape. The little chorus of glasses. That extra laugh, that must be Tyler's work friend. Canadian gray hoodie. Handsome in the kind of way that gets you a second free drink and invites to boats. Back there, Dad says, appearing with a bottle of red and a cork that refuses physics. He kisses the air near my temple the way generals salute. We saved you a spot by the kitchen doorway. Breezier. Hi, I say. And then, because the words crowd up, you could have told me about the bed. Mom doesn't look up. Sweetheart, you know how it is. The room is booked through Sunday. We had a lot of interest this week. Spring market, antique fair, all that. So we said yes. It's good extra money. You know? She waves the dish towel toward Sloan, who is already at the table, shiny hair and perfect skin, scrolling. Her left hand flashes a ring that could poke an eye out. The wedding. Also, Sloan says without looking up, you get the couch with the ottoman, so you can stretch your legs like a queen. She says it like a joke. The joke is that I am 32, and a guest in the house where my 4th grade spelling bee ribbon still lives on a bulletin board under a thumbtack in the shape of a star. I put down the oranges. I open the fridge and take in the landscape. A shelf of fancy yogurts. 3 labeled Tupperware. Don't touch. For Tyler, for event. A tiered cake wrapped in plastic like a prom dress. And, shoved in the back, the grocery store hummus I brought at Thanksgiving that no one ate and no one threw away because we don't waste. Your room is booked, Mom repeats gently, like a lullaby. We didn't want to cancel and get a bad review. You understand. It's just for a few nights. You're not picky. That's what we love about you. Some small hinge inside me tightens to a click. I think of the banner on my lock screen. I think of the last time I slept on that couch. The bar's neon bled through the window at 2 a.m. A neighbor's dog started a monologue at 4. Dad woke at 5 to empty the dishwasher. Because I can't sleep if clean plates are sitting there being smug. And I lay there with crumbs pressing my calf like braille. I inhale. My lungs are reliable. They have carried me through worse. I reach into the drawer with the junk. Pens with dead ink. Rubber bands that will snap. Scissors sticky with unidentified past craft projects. I pull a stack of takeout menus aside until I find what I need. My voice. No, I say without sugar. The word lands like the heavy end of a tape measure when it retracts. Thwack, true. Mom's hands pause mid-rinse. Dad sets the corkscrew down carefully as if it's loaded. Tyler laughs, then realizes the laugh is a beat too early and stops. Sloane looks up from her phone. Even the oven blinks. No, Mom repeats, polite confusion. No. What? No couch, I say. No sleeping where the living room is walkway, where the lamp stutters, where I am turned into a coat rack with a pulse. Mom's eyes flick to Dad's. Do we have a situation? And back. Her smile reappears, the social armor. Honey, don't be dramatic. You're here 2 nights. You slept on friend floors in college. You're flexible. I dry my hands on the dish towel because nerves sweat is still sweat. The towel smells like lemon and clean effort. In college, I say softly, I wasn't paying 40% of my take-home toward rent in a city 2 hours away. In college, my body didn't wake me at 4 to list everything expected of me before sunrise. In college, I didn't have a bed that's mine, in a room that used to be mine, in a house that trained me to be grateful for scraps. Dad straightens, a posture that means we are entering his favorite terrain. Rational disappointment. Elijah, he begins, low. We all make sacrifices. Your mother did not sleep for a decade. You owe your sister support at this time. The room is booked. End of story. Booked by whom? I ask, even though the answer is obvious. Mom's cheeks pink. It's a small listing, she says, casual, like she is explaining cilantro. A little side thing. Your father's business is slow in the spring. The mortgage? Sloane chimes in without looking up, the way a radio station drips weather between songs. And it helps with costs. Like for the venue minimum and the flowers and everything that becomes 3 times the price when you say wedding. It's not like we wouldn't do it otherwise. It's just smart. I picture my room as it was, the poster of Mars from that exhibit Dad took us to when I was 7, the chipped desk where I wrote a college essay while a thunderstorm made the window talk. I picture it now, some stranger's suitcase on my old rug, my bookshelf emptied of dog-eared paperbacks, and reborn with a trio of fake succulents from Target, or worse, real succulents dying slowly under a too bright lamp. Do I get the booking fee? I ask, mild, a test balloon I already know the fate of. Don't be ridiculous, Dad says, and in his voice I hear you are 12 and bad at math. The smell of chicken goes sweet, and then too sweet. I put the oranges in the sink, run water. The sound is a curtain I stand behind for 10 seconds. When I turn around, they are all watching. The way people watch a balloon with a small hole slowly lose the will to hover. Okay, I say, and the steel surprises even me. Here is what will happen. I'm not sleeping on the couch. I will figure out a bed that belongs to me tonight. In the morning, we will talk about this as adults. You can decide if you want me in your house under terms that treat me like furniture. I can decide if I want to be here at all. Mom's mouth opens, closes. Dad's jaw works. Tyler lifts his hands like palms out. No trouble, man. Sloane looks genuinely confused. Her face is a mirror someone told the truth to, and it didn't melt. I'll eat after I drop my bag somewhere, I say. I pick up my suitcase. The oranges glisten. Laughter starts again in the dining room, brittle as spun sugar. I step into the night that smells like sprinklers. I sit in the rental car. I rest my head against the wheel for 10 slow counts. I unlock my phone. There's a text from Jules, my once-a-week trivia teammate, my most earnest human. An EMT who keeps 5 succulents alive by talking to them like they are competent. Jules, are you in town? Because Marlo knocked an entire shelf down and I need a second set of eyes before I call it tornado and not art. I tell her everything in 3 sentences. My parents rent my room as an Airbnb now. They told me to sleep on the couch. I said no. She replies with a sentence that opens a window. Come here. Guest bed is made. I can scoot the broken pieces into tomorrow. At 11:21 p.m., I am standing in Jules's doorway, holding a bag of oranges, and the weirdest weekend of my 30s. Her greyhound, Marlo, greets me with the full joy of a creature who has never been told he is too much. The guest room smells like laundry and lavender. The sheets are crisp. The bed is a regular bed, with legs and dignity. I put my phone on the nightstand. It buzzes again with family noise I ignore. I look at the ceiling, the familiar hairline crack above the window that Jules refuses to fix because every house needs a line that proves it can hold. I breathe. My heart decelerates. It's small, this first number. It sounds like a cough. It feels like a door you didn't know was unlocked until you touched it, and it swung. I sleep. Morning is ordinary. Jules humming off-key to the kettle. Marlo making the tiny dream sounds of a creature reliving a sprint. My phone face down on a book about how to rest your nervous system when every email says urgent. I roll to my side and watch the slow light creep up the wall. It is an unremarkable rectangle of peace that somebody else with kindness made for me. I make the bed with gratitude precise as hospital corners. Jules pushes a mug toward me. You look like a human again, she says. She's in scrubs, hair in a messy bun that actually holds. Her kitchen smells like toast and the citrus hand soap we both like, the one that makes you believe you are cleaner than you were 3 minutes ago. Last night, they told me to sleep on the couch while a stranger sleeps in my room, I say. Because my room is a business. Because my sleep is flexible. Jules leans her hip against the counter. We both know it's not about the couch, she says. It's about the story where your needs are a rounding error. I nod. This is why Jules is a friend. You don't have to burn energy making thesis statements. She carries the abstract and the conclusion in both palms and offers them up with coffee. I'm going to get organized, I say, and already my mind is building a grid. The only thing that makes me feel like chaos doesn't get to set every price. I open notes, write receipts at the top. My fingers move. List first, plan second, calm always. What I have: the home base thread where they told me to take the couch, timestamp 10:52 p.m. The text where mom and dad wrote, room is booked. Busy, busy. Good problem to have. My last 3. I'm coming home this weekend messages. Unacknowledged. Photos of my old room as of last summer. Mars poster, chipped desk, ugly lamp I secretly love. Screenshots of me offering to pay utilities to keep my room as is when I moved out 2 years ago. Mom replied, nonsense. You're always welcome. What I need: proof of their listing. Name, price, calendar, reviews, photos. Evidence they've been renting for months. Reviews, dates. Payout logs if they bragged about totals in the chat. They sometimes do. Proof of how much they've asked of me for Sloane's wedding versus what I've already contributed. City short-term rental rules because Dad only respects words with numbers. I open the Airbnb app. I search my town. There it is on page 2, so on brand it hurts. Cozy nest near downtown. The cover photo is my bed dressed in a beige duvet I don't own. Mars is gone. The desk is gone. In their place, a print of a leaf and a sign in a frame that says, "Gather in a script font I would dissolve in acid if it were a person." A pine-scented candle sits where my 10th grade science fair ribbon used to live. The price is $129 a night. The cleaning fee is absurd. The calendar is booked through the weekend. 47 reviews. So clean. Charming home, great pillows. Host left cookies. One from October. Dinah's cozy nest is a perfect base while visiting family. The smiley face at the end makes me bite my tongue hard enough to taste pennies. I scroll the photos. The closet door has a new padlock. The caption reads, "Owner's storage." That closet used to hold my winter coat and a shoebox full of notes from friends I've lost, and one terrible poem that made me believe someone like me could talk to a sky made of brick. I take screenshots. Whole listing, reviews with dates, calendar. I text them to a folder labeled Evidence because form calms me. Back in home base, I scroll. Near Christmas, Dad. Tyler's bonus covered his flight. We're covering Sloane's dress. Eli, can you handle photo booth? Mom. Also, can you Venmo me $150 for the invitations? We'll settle up later. Me. Sent. Sloane. You're an angel. 3 months ago, me. I can't cover all the bridesmaid travel. I can do the shoes and hair. Mom. We're all stretched. Maybe think of it as building memories, me. Memories can't go on a credit card. I scroll more. Last month. Dad. Another 5-star. $. Not bad for spring. He included the amount. I screenshot. There's the proof. There's the math. I call Aunt Lonnie. She is my mother's younger sister and my personal patron saint of say the sentence, or don't say anything at all. She picks up on the second ring. Am I on speaker? She says by way of hello. No, I say. Ever. Then tell me why you called with your blood sugar already low. I fill her in. The couch, the listing, the leaf print, the 47 reviews that look like applause for theft. She exhales slowly. Your mother hates empty space, she says. So she filled it. With strangers and money, she tells herself it's resourceful. She forgets the resource was a person. I need to decide how to handle it, I say. I do not want to yell. I do not want to be the screaming villain in their story. You want to be the judge with the file folder and the eyebrow, she says. Excellent. Pack paper. Pack plan. Don't pack apology. I'll see you tonight? I ask. I'll sit there and eat their roast like it owes me rent, she says. And I'll say, let the child speak if your mother's voice goes razor. Wear shoes you can leave fast in. When we hang up, I text Rafi, accountant by day, bandmate sometimes, the only person I know who reads municipal code like bedtime poetry. Find me the short-term rental rules, I write. Just the numbers and the nouns, no commentary, for city of my parents. He replies with a screenshot of the ordinance header and the relevant lines highlighted. Registration required for hosts, maximum nights if owner occupied, tax remittance, fines if non-compliant. Neighbors can complain if parking gets silly. He includes the ordinance number. He doesn't editorialize. This is why I love accountants. I print everything at the copy shop because the printer at my parents' house is out of ink except when it's suddenly not. And using their toner to show them their behavior feels like bad theater. I buy a cheap black folder. It feels like a talisman. By noon, I have a stack. Airbnb listing pages, reviews, calendar, screenshots of home-based messages showing bookings and good problems. My Venmo contributions to the wedding with reimburse later in the memo line. The ordinance page. A page titled, What I Need to Stop Doing and What I Will Do Instead in my handwriting, which I will read to myself, not them. The last page says, "Stop doing, sleeping on couches when there is a bed with my name on it. Paying for other people's memories, while mine gets sold by the night. Agreeing to be flexible when the flexibility only bends one way. Do instead say no early, not after my resentment grows teeth. Book my own bed, pay if I want, not because I'm expected. Present receipts calmly and then leave, if needed. Create a holiday that is not a performance. At 2:40 p.m., I drive to the house. The sky is that cloudless low winter blue. The neighbor's wind chimes sound like someone scattering a bag of marbles over a metal sheet. The front door is propped open again. The smell is roast chicken and that heavy candle Mom likes called Harbor Mist that smells like generic ocean and manufactured nostalgia. Tyler's hoodie hangs on the banister. Sloane's laugh peals like a bell in a shopping mall. I put my folder on the counter. I lean on the kitchen island. I am a person on my feet, and not a coat hung on a chair. "Hey, Eli," Dad says, walking in with a platter, eyebrows lifted to an angle that means he's practicing being calm. "All good for tonight." "You got the ice?" "Hi," I say. "I have something to show you first." He glances at the folder. He sighs like a man at the beginning of a chore. Mom appears with a bowl of salad that is 90% croutons. Her eyes move from my face to the folder to my face. She pulls in a breath. The kitchen gets small. "A moment," I say, "before we eat." Sloane floats in, all hair and glass, balances a cheese board on one perfect hand like a waitress in a movie. "If this is about last night," she begins, "we love you. You know that, right? And your couch nest looked so cozy." "It's not about the couch," I say. "It's about renting my room and treating me like overflow." I open the folder. I place the listing printout on the island. I place the screenshot of Dad's good problem beside it. I place the ordinance with the highlight in yellow like a highlighter can make a law into a spell. Mom's face goes a particular shade of pink she uses to greet people at church and to deny wrongdoing. "You're making a scene," she says softly. "I am making a case," I say. "There's a difference." Tyler leans against the doorway, his hands in his pockets like a boy in a poster for a high school production of Grease. He looks uncomfortable. "Good." "I'm not a problem to be worked around," I say. "I told you I was coming." "You listed my room anyway. You told me to sleep on a couch. You asked me to pick up ice. You told me I was flexible, which is code for free." Dad sets the platter down. His mouth makes the shape of lecture. "We are hustling," he says. "Short-term rentals are the way of things. Your generation—" "Dad," I say, and hold up a palm because if I don't, he will wind himself up into big wind and knock the dishes over with the force of his explanation. "I'm not coming for your hustle. I'm asking you to stop treating me like it's cushion. If you want to run a business, you do it without making me a customer in my own life." Sloane's cheeks go blotchy. She is not used to cars veering out of the lane she painted. "We didn't mean to hurt you," she says, and she sounds like she means it. "I need so much help." And Mom said. Mom stiffens. "Don't make this about me." We all agreed. "I didn't," I say, and my voice surprises me by not shaking. "I never agreed to be the person who sleeps wherever you put me, while strangers enjoy my door, my mirror, my dent in that stupid desk." Dad starts up the engine again. "You always were the dramatic one," he says, which is hilarious if anyone here had time for comedy. "Rick," Aunt Lonnie says, walking in like a lifeguard with a whistle. She throws her bag on a chair. "Don't call the one with the file folder dramatic. She's dressed like due process." "Hello, Lonnie," Mom says brittle. "We're in the middle of—" "Eli is in the middle of something," Lonnie says. "You are near it," Tyler chokes on a laugh, then turns it into a cough. Sloane looks like she might burst into tears. Mom's lips thin. I lay the last page on the island. What I will do instead. I look at them, the people I love who taught me how to absorb, and then told me to give thanks for the gift of being a sponge. I won't be sleeping on the couch, I say. I'm staying at Jules's. There's a guest bed and a door that doesn't belong to a stranger by the hour. I'll be here for dinner, then I'll go. I will not be staying Saturday. I will not cook breakfast for you. I will not buy ice. I will not be booked over. Mom opens her mouth. We wanted intention and impact, I say, calm. I'm not trying to win. I'm trying to stop losing. Dad looks at the ordinance page. He reads the numbers. He swallows. Paper speaks a language he understands. We registered, he lies reflexively. The lie sits there obvious, and he cringes at his own reflex. We'll register, he corrects quickly, the way a man puts something fallen back on a shelf and hopes nobody saw. I'm not the city, I say. I'm your kid. I needed a bed and respect and a phone call with honesty. I got a couch and emojis. Sloane sets the cheese board down in a way that does not break a single cracker, which is an act of grace I clock. What can we do now? She asks, voice small. Right now? I say. We can eat. You cannot ask me to monologue while serving. You cannot ask me to be easy. And you cannot ask me for money today. After that, you decide if my visits are worth less than Airbnb reviews. If they are, I'll stop booking the drive. I'll build holidays elsewhere. Aunt Lonnie nods like a judge marking a point. That's clear, she says. Clarity is mercy. We eat. It is strangely pleasant when I'm not trying to fold myself into palatability and pillowcases. Tyler tells a decent story about a customer who wanted to return a toaster because it burns toast. Sloane shows me a seating chart and actually asks my opinion and then genuinely likes it when I say, put weird Aunt Joe with people who can absorb weird. Dad mumbles something about football and then catches himself and asks Jules about her EMT schedule instead, then catches himself again and asks me if my apartment water pressure is decent because the landlord in him muscles out the father sometimes, and today, he lets them both talk. I leave after dessert. In the driveway, Mom follows me, hands wrapped in her cardigan sleeves like a teenager. Her eyes look like someone showed her a mirror that doesn't flatter. We were trying to be practical, she says quietly. I hate empty rooms. I know. I say, no heat. Maybe leave some empty. Rooms breathe better that way. She nods. We'll block out your visits, she says, and I almost laugh because the language of calendars is the best she can do. We'll not book them. I won't be a calendar item, I say gentle. I'll be your kid. That's the only deal I do? She nods again, as if memorizing the line. Okay, she says. Okay. I back out. I drive to Jules's. I sleep in a bed that is mine because a friend said it was. In the morning, I make pancakes shaped like planets with Jules, and we argue about whether Saturn is too hard, because the rings always look like a hat. Marlowe steals a pancake with stealth, and his guilt looks like joy. We laugh like people who don't pay rent to pain. There's a ping from home base at 10:03 a.m. Mom. Blocked your next visit in the calendar. Reserved your room. Sorry again, sweetheart. Love. Dad. We had good intentions. Me. I need good actions. No one replies. Silence is sometimes a good sign. It means the people who usually fill it with noise are thinking. 2 days later, the thing that always happens happens. Life bolts, then strolls. Sunday brunch is a do-over for people who regret Saturday. My parents decide brunch is peace. They text, "Come early, we'll talk." I reply, "Yes." I put the folder in my bag again because ritual matters. When I walk in, the house smells like cinnamon and the specific courage required to attempt hollandaise from scratch. The table is set like a magazine photo of family who has their stuff together. Mason jar of flowers, cloth napkins I recognize from the drawer labeled "good" in Sharpie. On the counter sits a laminated sheet that makes me swallow a sound I cannot categorize. Half laugh, half alarm. House rules in bubble letters. Underneath, bullet points. Quiet hours, 10 p.m., 7 a.m. No smoking. No parties. No shoes on carpet. Guests may not enter owner-locked spaces. Unregistered guests. The rest clipped by the magnet. I lift the laminate. On the back, Wi-Fi. Cozy Nest 5G. The password is Gather 2024. I want to set it on fire. I put it down. Dad clears his throat. "We, wrote house rules," he says. "Thought it would make things clearer." "For you. For us. You wrote house rules for strangers," I say, mild. "Try writing some for your kid." Mom brings out a platter of eggs with the sort of triumph reserved for people who beat a video game boss. She sets it down and folds her hands like she's at a prayer breakfast. "We canceled next weekend's booking," she announces, "for your visit." "You canceled," I repeat. Her chin lifts. "4 stars lost is better than losing you," she says, and it sounds like English, and it sounds like a miracle translated. "Thank you," I say, and mean it. We eat. Nobody asks me to get up to fetch anything. There is a moment where Mom's muscle memory almost sends my name into the air. "Eli, can you?" And then she stops. Dad stands instead. He looks surprised to discover his legs contain service. After we scrape plates, I pull the last paper from my folder. It is not a law, or a screenshot, or one of their texts. It is a page I wrote last night, a thing my therapist called house rules for myself that is maybe the only list I've ever needed. I read it out loud because saying things in my own house voice makes them real. I don't sleep on couches when there is a bed. I don't cancel plans with people who treat me like a person in order to help people who treat me like a helper. I don't donate to the cause of my own invisibility. I don't confuse quiet with peace. I don't bring evidence to a bonfire and then complain that it burned. I do ask for what I need before I am shaking. I do leave when I'm not safe. I do stay when I am. Silence. Then Aunt Lanny claps once, sharp, like a metronome. "That's the good stuff," she says. "Put it on your fridge." Mom nods, very small. Dad breathes in, out. Sloane stares at her coffee as if answers float there like cream. Tyler flips a piece of bacon over with the fork and seems to deeply consider its char. Then, like a small gift wrapped in plain brown paper, Mom says, "I won't rent your room again. You're not an overflow. You're our kid." It sounds awkward on her mouth, like shoes not broken in. It is music anyway. "I'll believe you," I say, when I see it twice. She flinches. Then she nods again. "Twice," she repeats. "Okay." Jules texts at 1:12 p.m. Marlowe found a sunbeam the size of Rhode Island. He demands a witness I think about the couch at my parents' house, unrolled like a tongue ready to swallow me. I think about the guest bed with lavender and a dog asleep in light. I choose the bed. Choosing is a muscle that grows with use. I leave after the dishes. In the driveway, Dad stops me with a hand on my elbow. A touch he has not attempted since I was 17, and ran the stop sign on Ocean because I thought rules were a suggestion made to other people. "Hey," he says. His voice has sloughed off something. A shell. A habit. I was wrong. I blink. About what? He gestures vaguely at everything that has a noun. All of it. Most of it. I am not hungry for apologies like sugar anymore, but protein is good. Okay, I say. He smiles, crookedy. We'll do better. He adds, half joke, half plea. Write us a list. I already did, I say. It's on my fridge. He laughs, surprised by himself, and the sound is the first thing today that reminds me of the father I like. The one who taught me to jump a car and make hospital corners and say thank you to the person who cleans, not just the person who owns. At home that evening, I tape my house rules to my fridge with blue painter's tape. I send Jules a photo. She sends back one of Marlowe asleep, paws twitching. I make pasta. I sit on my sofa, which is a couch, which is not a bed. I put my feet up on the ottoman that serves my ankles and not anyone else's whims. I read. My phone buzzes with home-based noise I can mute. I mute it. I do not explain. Quiet turns out to be peace when you choose it. December again. The air is thin and clear. In the lobby of my building, someone has decorated the fake ficus with small copper bells that make a good sound when they're not trying too hard. My apartment smells like cinnamon and oranges, the real kind, not harbor mist. On my fridge, the blue tape holds. The rules have a coffee stain. That feels right. I host a small party I named out loud when I texted the invite. Holiday with a door. No couch sleeping. No pop by. Bring what you want to eat. Take what you brought when you go. I wrote, host cannot carry everything at once. Host does not fetch. People laughed and then obeyed because I modeled it with my mouth and my feet. Jules brings a pie that doesn't set right, and we eat it anyway. Rafi brings numbers disguised as gingerbread. Aunt Lainey brings a paper crown for me, and I wear it because dignity and silliness can share a head. Tyler texts a sincere apology for last year and a photo of his work friend in a lumberjack shirt holding a cat, and my brother looks happy in a way that makes me soften. Sloane texts a photo of her and her husband in matching pajamas and writes, "Did you know you cannot do matching pajamas and still be festive? Wild." Mom texts, "We bought a daybed for the den. For guests. Your room is yours." Dad texts, "What's the name of that fancy breakfast sauce? We're trying again." I send him a YouTube link. He replies with a photo of gloopy eggs and writes, "Attempt number 1." I write, "Proud of you." We are all learning. In the spring, Mom sends me a screenshot of her Airbnb page. Listing paused. She writes, "We're doing longer-term hosting in the basement only." The leaf print is gone. The gather sign lives in a drawer labeled seasonal, where it can do less harm. In June, they come to my apartment. It's a small space with a decent view, and a rug that stays where I put it because I measured and got a pad instead of telling myself to live with the slip. I watch my parents step over my threshold like people entering a country with unfamiliar rules. Polite, curious, a little stiff. They bring ice. They bring 2 casseroles in containers they take home with them after I say, "Take your containers," and look at them until they actually pick them up. They look at the house rules on the fridge and do not roll their eyes. Mom asks if she can wipe the counter, and then waits for me to say yes, and then wipes the counter like it's a way to talk. Dad fixes a loose cabinet hinge because he cannot help himself, and because sometimes love looks like an Allen key and 20 quiet minutes. I do not ask Mom to take her shoes off. She reads the room and does it. I do not ask Dad to stop day trading at my table. He leaves his phone in his jacket pocket without prompting. These unasked-for gestures are small. They are also the whole point. At Thanksgiving, I say no to the big family dinner and host holiday with a door again. I invite my parents. They come. They bring ice and leave with containers. In the middle of the meal, Dad stands up, awkward, glass in hand. "I want to say something," he says. and he is not a speech guy unless it's at a work thing where people clap because they have to. "We bought new towels," he says. Silence. Then laughter like a wave. He presses on. "I mean, we replaced things we thought were fine because they were ours with things that work for the people in front of us. I mean..." He looks at me. "We're trying," he finishes. Simple. We toast. The bells on the ficus in the lobby ring because someone opened the door downstairs. Sound carries when you make room for it. Later, when the plates are stages for crumbs and the apartment feels like a held breath finally let go, Mom sits on my couch and pats the cushion next to her. "This is a very good couch," she says, as if offering a compromise. "It's a very good couch," I agree. "It's not a bed." She nods. "I understand the difference now," she says. And her eyes are wet, and the moment is soft and old. A text pings from home base. Sloan sending a picture of their tree, their cat asleep under it like a perfect circle. She writes, "We got a daybed too. Guests get it. I get my bed." Starting to feel like sanity. "Send her our love," Mom says. And I do, and I add, "Proud of you." After they leave, I do my favorite part, the quiet part. I put leftovers away in containers I bought with lids that actually match because chaos is not a personality. It's a choice I don't make anymore. I wash 3 dishes, leave 2 for the morning because I am not a machine. I turn off the lamp. The room sighs. I go to the door and check the lock, not because I am afraid, but because there is a joy in securing what is yours and knowing who has keys. Mine include people who ask before they stay. Mine include me. On the fridge, the house rules paper curls a little at the corner. I smooth it down. I add a line with a pen, handwriting crooked from pie. I am not overflow. I am an address. I turn off the kitchen light. The bells in the lobby ring once. A final note. I stand in my doorway, look at the couch that is a couch and will never be asked to be a bed, and whisper the sentence that is a door I can open from either side. I don't sleep where I'm not seen.